Hello, I'm Jonathan Bradburn, and I did The Art of Teaching by Pazini. The Art of Teaching is a book written about the experiences that Pazini had when he was in school, and then also when he was a teacher. And what I found it very interesting how he gave us advice on how to become a successful teacher. I've taken some notes about the book, and I want to read a couple to you and then talk about them. Chapter 1 is known as The Beginnings. To start off, he talks about the fall. He sees the fall as it's a sense of change, and it's a good thing. This job's very good because it allows for you to start over, to get new material, and to learn how to improve yourself for the incoming class rather than just keep doing the same thing over. He also ends up quoting the Spring and Fall poem, which says it's like starting over. It can be scary, but a good teacher takes it and sees it as an advantage. And then he also talks about how one of the best ways to do that is to make goals and to set the goals so you can always improve and get better as the year progresses. If you end up achieving those goals, then you know that you were successful in that year. Then in chapter 2, he talks about, which is called My Life in School, he talks about his experience in school. He also says that, I thought this interesting, there are two types of teachers. There's one that is test-oriented, which means they're very close to material and only follow the material. And then they're also creative, who tries to make things interesting so the students will be drawn into the lecture and will want to learn. Now, he also points out what his opinion of a good teacher is. He starts off by saying one understands and pushes the student to reach maximum potential. Now, this is good for the teacher because if you push that student to reach their maximum potential, you know that you know whether they can achieve it or not, and you also know how you can help them and build on that. He then also talks about how one must be passionate on how they teach. Well, you have to be passionate about your material, otherwise you won't get maximum results. And then one of the ones that he talks about that I found to be interesting is he helps the students in the material by partaking in it with them, mainly by lecturing and talking about it, but also he can give them projects, find interesting ways to really make them want to learn and to do better. Then he also goes into chapter 3, and chapter 3 is known as The Teaching Life. It talks about his experiences as a student teacher and also a brief moment of when he landed his first teaching job at a college. He says that a teacher must invent and cultivate a voice for their identity. He compares in this how teaching is like being on a stage, and how teachers wear masks. Well, they must create their own mask and give themselves their sense of own persona. You're going to start off basically on past experiences with your favorite teacher, but in the end, you need to build and create your own mask so that you have your own style. And then he also says, lastly, that tone is everything in the classroom, and that a tone is basically the material of the teacher toward the material being learned. It's like it should be seen as a gift, and it's the main way to help your student learn better and to really understand the material. Then lastly, he gives some advice in chapter 4. I just want to talk about a couple briefly. You must learn basically who you are. If you know who you are, you will know how to get that lecture material across and then help your students get the maximum potential. The teacher really needs to know how they want to do this and what's the best way, most effective way, not only for the student, but for themselves as well. Then also, he says, you must be able to also kid with the students, but don't humiliate them in front of class. This will create a sense of it will create a relationship, which it's not always a bad one. It's a good one because it gets the kids, hey, he's also just like one of my friends. And that will help out them realizing that they can learn better from you. And then, just want to talk about two more. Don't judge the work of your other colleagues because everybody has people do stuff differently. Just because they don't do it the way you do it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just what's the most effective way. And then lastly, above all, don't be afraid of change, because change can help you out. Always look at the school year as an opportunity to grow and become better. And like I said, I am Jonathan Bradburn, and I did The Art of Teaching by Jay Pazini. Thank you for stopping by.